Welcome to the SBI Podcast, offering CEOs, sales and marketing leaders ideas to make the number.
Welcome to the SBI Podcast, a weekly broadcast dedicated to helping you make your number, but getting your peers to share with you how they are making theirs. Today we're going to demonstrate how to create an inspiring brand that tells your strategic story. So why this topic? Your competitors are making the same claims and promises as you. They are even using the same words. Brands that are built on who you are and what you do not result in above average revenue growth. Your brand impacts revenue growth when it gets activated by the Salesforce and becomes uniquely relevant to your customers and prospects. My name's Greg Alexander. I'm your host and I'm the CEO of SBI. And helping me today with our demonstration, who's an executive who knows all about branding. His name is Michael Speranza, and he's the Senior Vice President of Corporate Strategy and Marketing at IPC. So Michael, welcome to the show, and please introduce yourself to the audience.
Great, Greg, thanks for having me. I'm the Senior Vice President of Corporate Strategy and Marketing at IPC. I've held various roles at the company over a period of time in product, marketing, strategy, actually running an entire business unit for the company. And I recently took on a broader role focused on corporate strategy, M&A, and corporate marketing. So IPC is a global B2B provider of technology solutions for the financial service markets. We provide communication, networking, and information governance solutions for our customers, which allow them to do a few core things. One is to connect to every aspect of the market and the financial community and all the counterparties that they want to do business with. And the second is it allows them to reliably and securely exchange information and mitigate their risk. Our solutions are often highly complex and integrated with our customers' businesses to help them drive revenue. We've been in this market for over 40 years, and we're 100% focused on the financial services markets.
Okay. So as I understand it, you recently relaunched the IPC brand. And what was the compelling event that drove that and, justified the investment?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've been a known provider in this space for over 40 years. The company has continually evolved over that time period and made minor adjustments to its positioning and its branding. But we were about to take on a bolder set of objectives for the company. And as an organization, we felt that this was really going to guide us for the next few years from a strategic product and investment standpoint. There were a lot of exciting things happening. We had a new strategy. We had new products and services coming to market. We had revenue being generated from places which were not obvious to our customers or our investor community. We had new customers and segments that we were approaching and targeting. That was not obvious to our investor community either. And we had also just completed a number of acquisitions, which really compelled us to create a holistic and unifying message across the entire company. And it was really an opportunity for us to get folks internally excited about our ambition and where we're going as an organization, but really create a compelling narrative externally with our customers as well.
Yeah, so fantastic. I mean, so for the audience members that are watching and listening right now, going through a rebranding is a lot of work. So there better be a reason to do it, and what you just heard from Michael is a really strong, compelling reason to do that. So let's put the brand in kind of a 360-degree view to kind of understand where your brand lives and acts in. So would you describe that for the audience, please?
Sure. So our brand exists in probably one of the most demanding B2B technology buyers in the world. We cater to some of the largest financial institutions in the world. What we do for our clients can be viewed as very niche. It's very specific. It's also highly critical to their business. So the services and products that we provide are front and center in their ability to generate revenue, create alpha, and really drive the economics of their businesses. It comes with an expansive global reach for a company of our size. So we operate on a global basis in about 60 countries throughout the world, but we've only got 1,400 employees, which may sound like a lot, but we're a mid-sized company with expansive global reach, and those 1,400 employees exist in about 40 offices throughout the world. So with all of that, we also focus on a very diverse set of customers within financial services. So while we are 100% focused on that market, we could have one client who's one of the largest well-known investment banks in the world, and we could also be serving a client which is a hedge fund that has one employee that no one's ever heard of. And our brand needs to speak to and address and talk to all of those constituents.
So very interesting answer there, and a very a great illustrative example. So audience members, if you've got to be able to answer this question as thoroughly that Michael just answered the question, understanding where your brand lives and how your audience might engage with your brand is central to going through any type of rebranding effort, and certainly central to telling your strategic story. So, Michael, let me go to my last question in this segment, and then we'll take a break, which is, as you embarked on this journey, and for all of the valid reasons that you did, I'm imagining you did some type of brand audit. And if you could describe that process and maybe a little bit about what you learned during that process, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question. And I think we had a really interesting dimension to our brand audit, in that one of the compelling for us to embark on this was us acquiring a European competitor of ours. So it was an element of cultural sensitivity that we had to include in our brand audit. But we did launch a full brand audit. We conducted in-depth interviews with not only customers, employees, stakeholders. We did discovery workshops with a number of constituents as well to really identify key brand attributes of both organizations, not only our own, but the we were acquiring at that point in time. We identified what we felt were the aspirational elements of the brand, and we really made sure that we incorporated that cultural component to embody and create a brand that was going to be embraced by not only the joint set of employees, but the joint set of customers that we were bringing together. So the audit included pretty much all aspects that you would expect: visual identity, brand, logo, content, web, print, advertising. It was an end-to-end program that touched every campaign. And what's interesting is that we're able to do this quite quickly, really in less than 3 months from start to finish.
Wow. So that was a comprehensive brand audit. I mean, you just rattled off a few things that were included in that. You got all that done in 3 months.
Yeah, it was an effort, but both organizations were completely focused on it.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. All right, we're going to take a quick break from the interview to invite you to participate in a remarkable experience. I'd like to personally invite you to the studio, a multi-million-dollar, one-of-a-kind, state-of-the-art executive briefing center located here in beautiful Dallas, Texas. It was developed by SBI specifically for executive teams inside of companies with aggressive revenue growth goals who don't have a lot of time to waste and have a lot on the line. Let's face it, to grow revenues faster than your industry and your competitors every month, quarter, and year is a pretty hard thing to do. A visit to the studio increases the probability of you making your number because the sessions are built on the proven strength and stability of our clients, people like Mike. So if you're interested in this, visit our website, salesbenchmarkindex.com/the studio to book your visit. This is the SBI Podcast, back in 20 seconds.
Meet Jerry. He's the CEO for a startup in Silicon Valley. He just signed up with SBI On Demand, a membership for growing businesses that includes an SBI workshop, access to subject matter experts, and a library of exclusive video tutorials. With SBI On Demand, he can access the very best of SBI from anywhere, even when he's on vacation. Just don't tell his wife. How do you SBI? Take it to the next level with SBI On Demand. Learn more at sbiondemand.com.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the SBI Podcast. This is Greg Alexander, and today's guest is Michael Speranza, the Senior Vice President of Corporate Strategy and Marketing for IPC. And today we're demonstrating how to create an inspiring brand that tells your strategic story. So let's jump back into the questions here, Michael. I was fascinated with what you shared with us in the first segment. the next question I probably should have asked in segment one, but let me ask it now anyways, which is, who is the audience of the brand and what does your brand do for them?
So the audience, we had a pretty wide-ranging set of constituents in the audience. The first was really some of our existing customers, as well as new customers that were targets of some of our growth investments. We were aspiring to enter new market segments as well as new departments within our existing customers, and we need to make sure that the brand spoke to them. Those are some of the external targets. On the internal side, we had our global base of employees. As I mentioned, we were just going through a cultural marriage with a European company that we had competed with for over 30 years, and it was important that the brand embodied those elements, spoke to them, and didn't create any sort of divisive elements within the culture of the company. Externally, we also had obviously the influencers, the press, the media, the analyst community, as well as the investor community.
Yeah. And when you think about articulating to them what your brand does for them, and maybe use this acquisition as an example to bring this to life. I can only imagine what it's like to try to speak to somebody who you've been competing with in the trenches for 30 years. That must have been a difficult challenge. So what's some of the attributes of the messaging you use in that context?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we did spend a lot of time on this and made sure that we were being equitable across every element of feedback that we were getting in the brand. Although we were a larger company, we made sure to make sure that we were incorporating the characteristics and the products and the services that we acquired into our strategy going forward. And the way we addressed this was that we actually created a unifying mission statement across the entire organization and used that as really one of the kind of the core brand pillars and attributes to make sure that we were communicating that to the staff internally as well as the customers externally. And that mission was all about being a technology and service leader, powering the global financial markets, and really delivering a connected and secure compliant community. So if you talk to our customers, our staff, our employees, hopefully that will roll off all of their tongues, and we've been communicating that to them for the better half of 12 months now. And that's really what we use to kind of galvanize everyone together.
Okay, fantastic. And normally a branding effort like the one you're describing today, you develop a brand promise, and some people also take it to the step of developing a brand promise guarantee. Did you all do that?
So what we did was actually develop our mission statement, which we share with you, which we view as our brand promise, both to our staff and to our customers. And then what we actually did was support it at one level down. With you, but we have the benefit of being able to brand at a corporate level and have that brand be 100% focused on the financial markets. And we believe that that's a major differentiator for our company, and we wanted to make sure we capture that. So what we did was actually create 4 brand pillars that we believe our staff, our employees will resonate with. And the first was really being at the heart of the financial, being able to tirelessly anticipate change in these markets, and that we actually are an innovator. So the third brand pillar was that we wanted to ensure that customers could continue to count on us as they had been 30 or 40 years, and make sure that we did not leave that brand attribute behind. The fourth element was making sure that more than ever, that customers could count on us to connect them to the global financial community with our expanded global reach and presence. Okay,
very good. Now, my next question was about how your brand differs from your competitors. You just gave me 4 brand pillars that, to me, seem like competitive differentiators. Would you agree, or were there other things that you did relative to competitive differentiation?
We did focus on those brand pillars as the core competitive differentiators, and we'll give our sales team and our customers the belief that more than ever, we are 100% focused on the financial markets, and that we don't get distracted like another large global enterprise could, just with that focus. And that gave us a lot of differentiation from some of our competitors. And the other element that differentiated us was really relying on our proven history for decades in this space, which really helps us differentiate from a new entrant in this space.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's take another break. Would you like to implement some of the things that Michael has spoken to you about today? I can imagine you would. If so, maybe we can help you. Consider having one of our experts spend some time with you in a workshop. If you want to get a feel for what's covered in the workshop, go to sbi.tips/2017 workbook and download a copy of the workbook that we use in these workshops. Okay, we got one more segment with Michael after the break on developing an inspiring brand that tells you a strategic story. We'll be back in a second.
Meet Tom. He's the CEO of a leading medical device company, and this is his business partner, the latest SBI workbook. Every day, Tom uses the workbook to guide his sales and marketing vision. The yellow sticky? That's his corporate strategy. The pink sticky? His product roadmap. The dog-eared section? That's where Tom's mapped out next year's growth plan. The stain on the cover? That's from the champagne he popped open when they made their Q4 number.
That was a good day, wasn't it, Mr. Workbook?
How do you SBI? Take it to the next level with the SBI Workbook. Order your copy today at howdoyousbi.com.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is our last segment with Michael demonstrating how to create an inspiring brand that tells your strategic story. Let me jump back into the questions here. And, as a strategist and a marketer, my next question might elicit some humor, I hope. And that is, how does the Salesforce live the brand in every interaction with customers? And I ask you that question because sometimes I hear your peers say, we did all this wonderful work around the brand, and then the sales team gets in front of the customers and the words that come out of their mouth are not on brand message, which it must be incredibly frustrating. So how do you make sure that your Salesforce lives the brand in every interaction?
That's a great question. So in some of my past roles, I have a lot of empathy for the sales team and some of the challenges they face. And our belief here is that you have to walk the walk with the sales team. You can't simply deliver a Word document or a PowerPoint or a set of messages and not practice it with them and let them see how the people that create the messaging actually help deliver it. And it's really a process. I think these things don't just arrive. It's really a multi-process to make sure that these messages are getting into the vernacular, the vocabulary, and the messaging, and they have to get comfortable with it. You're asking, someone to kind of change their stripes and the way they've operated for quite a period of time. So what we did along with that, develop a whole set of tools, holistic messaging to support all of the cross-selling discussions that they're going to have with clients. That includes things like a new website with new positioning, but we also need to get the senior leaders out to actually help them deliver it and talk to their clients with them. I mentioned we did have the new visual identity as well. So there was a catalyst for change that they were able to leverage to go engage their clients. And we also had the announcement of that large acquisition, which allowed us to create a compelling event for them to go approach their client. So it was really about creating the on-ramps, and then when those on-ramps happened, making sure that they were prepared and comfortable with the conversation. And if they weren't, we'd have people that would go with them to help deliver it to them. We're 12 months in, and the process is going quite well.
Fantastic. That's a lot of support and a lot of recognition on how important it is to support the Salesforce when you relaunch a brand. That's a great story, a great example for all of us. All right, my next question. So what is the core opportunity for brand relevance that really was the inspiration for your strategic story?
So the core opportunity for us was really around 12 months ago when we embarked on this, was to really set a complete, broad set of new multi-year goals for the organization. It wasn't just about creating a new logo or having a new tagline or a new message. It was really about redefining what the boundaries were for our sales team, for our product teams that are actually out there building and defining and ideating these new concepts, and giving them a 2 to 3 or maybe even longer year view as to where we're trying to go as an organization. And for us, the way that translates to value is that it created a compelling narrative internally and externally with the press, the media, the analysts, our investor community, and our customers. And it really allows us to develop new client relationships. So those new market segments that we're trying to targeting, It creates that on-ramp into those. And it also creates a holistic view within the customers where our sales team can now go in and sell products and services that either didn't exist in the past, that they didn't have in their toolkit, or that the customer simply just was not aware of that we offered and provided. And you can use an analogy. It's almost like an iceberg where only 10% of it is above the surface. And we did have that kind of behavior and belief, which is a great thing because all you need to do is expose it, and it really can help drive value for our business.
Yeah.
And that's really how we approached and looked at the way we were going to create value.
Okay. And then my last question is that you have 1,400 employees spread across 60 countries, which is quite a challenge. So how did you launch the brand internally?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think we took a really innovative approach to this. And the best way I can describe it is that we viewed the launch of the brand as when we started the process. So from the day that we started this initiative, we exposed and involved all 1,400 employees in everything that we were doing. So we led them down the path. We did complete employee interviews and surveys with them. We actually allowed our entire internal staff to participate in a contest to actually pick the logo. Wow. So they had their fingerprint on it. We did education along the way around the importance of brand building, with things like blog posts and internal education. And then, of course, when it came time to roll it out, we absolutely had the senior leadership and the CEO of the company be the ones who unveil the message, march, lead all the employees path. So we think we took an innovative approach to it by really exposing the entire company to the effort, and that they really felt a part of it, and that it didn't just arrive on their desk on that day with a new business card and a new logo. They knew it was coming, they expected it, and they actually had influence in the project.
Yeah. I can tell you that is an innovative approach. I've been involved in a lot of rebranding efforts, and the internal launch is usually really hard. But doing things like letting them pick the logo and running a contest, those are really innovative approaches. So congratulations on handling that really well. All right, well, listen, Michael, we are out of time. But on behalf of our audience, I wanted to thank you for sharing your story with us. Creating an inspiring brand that tells a strategic story is not an easy thing to do. And you guys, I'm kind of going through my checklist here, and you executed flawlessly. So thanks for being on the show and sharing your story with us.
Greg, thanks for the time, and great speaking with you today.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and I want to thank you, the SBI audience, for tuning in. Get this, on average, the monthly touch points of this show, since we're marketers, we care about these things, is 6.7 million each and every month when you add up all the touch points of the way that we distribute this content. So fantastic job, team out there, SBI Nation, for sharing all the content. I really appreciate it. Producing this show requires a very large commitment. It's numbers like this that motivate us to keep producing and sharing this sales and marketing thought leadership content. So thank you again for your continued support. If you want to learn more about this topic or the other areas that we focus on, go to salesbenchmarkindex.com/register and create an account. This will allow you to personalize your experience with our content. For example, you can choose the topics that you care about and how often you want to learn about them. Okay, that's it for today. As always, until next time, I wish you good luck as you try and make your number.
This has been the SBI Podcast. For more information on SBI services, case studies, the SBI team and how we work, or to subscribe to our other offerings, please visit us at salesbenchmarkindex.com.